Hello, everybody. I'm Daniela from Matchpoint, and we are here to be answering all of your burning questions about all things networking and events. I'm so excited. Today, I've got Maarten Vanneste with me, the founder of the Meeting Support Institute, a community for professionals around meeting design. With over 25 years of experience that began when he launched his AV services company at 18, Maarten has helped reshape how conferences and meetings drive learning, networking, and motivation. So he's the perfect person to be here with me today. So, Maarten, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here, Daniel. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Are you ready for your rapid fire question?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. So tell me, what role do innovative formats like speed networking or matchmaking platforms play in enhancing event networking experiences?
Well, I think they play a huge role in the sense that they are happening at meetings and conferences, which is the best place for networking. People at conferences are all people that are in the same business. So they are in the industry of heart surgery or printer ink or electricity cable production or whatever, and they all have similar needs and similar interests. So you bring all these people together at a conference. It creates a huge amount of potential for networking, which is unique to conferences. There's no place in the world where you, as a professional in paper polishing machines, will find other people in paper polishing machines. You only meet this quality of people at conferences. So there, it is hugely important that this meeting of each other, that's why we call it a meeting, is stimulated. And so anything you can do to improve the networking, which is kind of a word that needs some explanation as well, but anything you can do to gather people, to make new connections between people is crucially important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you kind of painted the picture of like you will probably not ever run into someone that does exactly what you do except for at a conference. So I have a follow-up like challenge to what you said though, because in the case where you're at a conference where everyone is in the same industry as you, right? You need to sometimes look for something a little deeper that you have in common, right? Because we know that everyone's there for the same reason. How do we get deeper? So maybe talk to me about experiences that you might have had personally or seen, planning meetings or conferences.
Yeah, I think the first step fundamentally would be um, looking at the speakers of the conference, because you have, let's say, 1,000 people at a conference, and you have 10 breakout rooms, and in each of those there are 10 is one speaker, so 10 speakers per slot. You have 2 days, that's like 60 speakers, for example, or 100 speakers. So you, as a specialist in X, Y, or Z, you go to this speaker because you are interested in that specific aspect of the industry. So other people do the same. So now we have 100 people in a room with one speaker because of that topic. So those 100 people are probably even better matches for you than the 1,000. 100 is still too much. But that brings you together around a topic, and that topic is specific to your interest, just like the other people in that room. So the people that sit at your table are probably the best strangers you could ever meet.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what if we take a step back for a second? Because there's a lot of talk about networking before you even set foot at the event. So, take ourselves out of the conference space for a second, and we're en route to the conference. How can we use matchmaking apps or tools that event organizers give their attendees in advance of the conference to kind of dive deeper and see who we want to meet out of the thousands of people that are going to be at a conference?
Yeah, I think the best thing you can do with an app or with something that happens before the conference is trying to find the people that are in that smaller group of 100 people and try to get the right people sitting at the right table together. So if you know who's going to this session, then you have a smaller group already. And then within that group, you could go even more specific by asking maybe about their needs or why they're going to this session, and then trying to match the people based on that. So that's the finest grain of networking, diving deeper into the networking. So it's at that level that I think if you can do that and bring those people together around one table, making a group of 6 people, and then you organize the sessions so that they have time for those people to talk to each other, because that's a huge one as well. Then you have the highest potential of success through new people meeting each other. And if you can do that in advance, based on these people have chosen for speaker C, let's devise a number of questions that they can choose from, and then we'll put those people together at a table.
I love that. I think that's an awesome idea. Event organizers just being more intentional of how they plan and pair groups of people together. Like actually look, not just collecting the data, but actually looking at it. I guess this is a pleasant reminder for event organizers watching this because, we both know planning events is so hectic and sometimes we forget those little details
Yeah.
of why people are really coming to your event. And yes, it's to hear the speakers and engage with people in the industry, but they really want to get ROI out of being there, and usually that means meeting people that can actually help them do something they're working on. So that's the key here. Be intentional about how and where you're placing your attendees. I love that.
Yeah, there is a good reason to do that. There's several reasons, good reasons to do that. Because when you put people in the same industry together in a session and then together at a table because of similar sensitivities or similar needs, these people will talk to each other. If you give like half the time of the session to the participants, there is an ideal scenario to do that. It's simple. There's no cost and there's no big effort needed for that. And while doing that, they will check all the boxes: learning, networking, and motivational. Because
Yeah.
it's highly motivational if you as a professional can share your experience with someone that is asking a question at your table. It's highly motivational to listen to other participants. The learning improves because participants chew on the information that they just got, and also the networking. I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? The networking is so powerful because you're talking about your topic. You know stuff about this topic, and very quickly you will see who you have at your table, who is an interesting person for you. When it's over and the speaker stops, they're not walking out. They stay at the table talking to each other because they love the way this is going. So the quality of the networking goes up dramatically, and the quantity of the networking goes up exponentially, because normally if you sit in rows and you have a speaker and somebody can ask a question to the speaker and the speaker answers, and somebody else asks a question and the speaker answers. Q&A is not the same thing quantitatively because you have 3 people asking a question. If you do the small group conversations, every individual meets 5 new people that they haven't seen before. If you have 10 sessions in a conference, that's 50 participants. High chance that they find one person that they really will be in touch with after the conference, a new contact. So motivation, learning, and networking, everything explodes in a way. And I would say it doubles the value of any conference if you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you painted that beautifully. And again, if any event organizers are watching this, Martin just gave you a formula for how to help attendees leave your conference with great ROI, because at the end of the day, those connections are what builds that ROI. So I think that's great. And I really thank you for being here.
Thank you. It was lovely to be here.